As somebody who worked in Tenerife and lived there for a good couple of years in the mid-2000s and had exposure and experience with some of the criminal underworld that was out there, some of the mafia-run activities that were out there, I'm going to give my opinion on what I think has most likely happened with Jay Slater. Because I'm seeing a lot of conspiracy videos right now about what may or may not have happened to him, and actually, I think within some of these conspiracies and what people are talking about, there probably is an element of truth to this. So trigger warning, I'm preparing you now, trigger warning for what I'm about to discuss and talk about. So although people like to go to Tenerife to have a bit of fun and to have a party, there is a serious, and I mean serious, criminal underworld going on there, from the top authorities down to the police, and then obviously all of the civilians that are also involved in this stuff. So let's start with the fact that he was off at somebody's house, he met them at a festival, went back to their house, missed his bus the next day and decided to just go wandering through the terrain and desert in the mountains in an attempt to get himself back to Los Cristianos. I sincerely believe that if that element was true and he was wandering around in that mountainous terrain, they would have found him by now. He would have absolutely been found. It's actually very difficult to go missing in Tenerife unless somebody wants you to go missing. Like that Mount Tidy, there are a lot of problems and people buried in that mountain. That is for sure. If they ever excavate that thing, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. So I am actually ruling out that he's got lost. I'm ruling that one out completely. And if he does turn up and they find him out there somewhere, I think there's going to be a lot more to it than meets the eye. But my honest belief from all the experience I've had out there, he would have been found by now, especially with all the eyes that are on this. I think that one way or the other with this, some sort of illegal substance or criminal activity is the foundation of his disappearance. He was out there with friends. He was out there with a girl. He goes to this festival, but for whatever reason decides to get in a taxi with two strangers and goes back to their Airbnb. It's not somebody who lives out there. It wasn't a resident. It was somebody renting an Airbnb who, incidentally, they've now left the Airbnb. His friend, who has been interviewed numerous times, doesn't want their face shown. Now, straight off the bat, I've never seen it where somebody goes missing and their friends are discussing it and they don't want their face shown. So straight away, I've got a little red flag above that element of it. But we've also got the element that he had 1% left on his battery, allegedly, rang his friend and said, I'm really, really thirsty. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. I've missed my bus. Help me. I think any of us, if we only had 1% left on our phone, would send a message. We wouldn't risk a phone call and it cutting out in that phone call. So there's red flag for me, number 2. Red flag number 3, if you miss a bus and you know there's another one coming a couple of hours later, you're not going to try and attempt a 6, 7, 8 hour walk to that place. You're going to sit yourself at the bus stop. You're going to wait for a little bit longer. You're just going to wait for that bus. Like, why you would even attempt that walk, especially if you're thirsty, hungover, on a come down, whatever it may be, you wouldn't just go wandering off and try and make your own way there, knowing how far it is. We all deal with grief in different ways, and I'm not going to speculate too much on his mum and the way his mum is talking and acting. But if I was a parent and I'd been told that my son had gone missing in the desert, I certainly wouldn't be out there on cameras saying to the general media, if anyone's got him, if he's been kidnapped, please just let him go. Not even if anyone's got him, just the assumption someone has got him, in fact, and please let him go, please let him go. I would be appealing that we get as many search parties out there as possible and find him. Now, I'm not going to call that a red flag at this point, but the GoFundMe page, £30,000, quite an exact number. Why did they need to raise £30,000 for his mum to stay out there? Like 30 grand, you could live in Tenerife for about 2 years off 30 grand, certainly for 12 months. So why it's 30 grand, I'm not sure. And I'm going to put half a red flag above that. My own personal opinion is that he has got himself mixed up in something that he can't get out of. And either he actually is being held and his mother is aware of that. The fact that the young lady who was his friend and was out there with him doesn't want to be shown, again, makes me feel that there could be some element there to that as well. Because let's face it, you go away on holiday with your friends. You don't just go to a festival and say, by the way, guys, I'm disappearing off into the mountains with these two blokes who I've never met before, and we're just going off. You know, either he knew them before he went away, or in some way they knew him. Because I'm going to say it again, you don't just go missing on that island. If you disappear off the face of the earth on that island, it's because one of 3 things have happened. You are in hiding, or someone has forced you to hide. You have got on a plane and you've already left the country, or you're buried up Mount Tidy or one of the areas somewhere. That's it. That is literally it. I think if he is found alive, there's going to be a hell of a lot more to this story that's all going to come out, and I think that GoFundMe will be linked to it. If he is actually found not living, I think we're going to see some injuries involved. I don't just think we're going to find a severely dehydrated guy in the middle of the terrain. But that's my own personal opinion on it, just based on my experience out there, knowing what some of the organisations like there get up to and some of their actual activities. But what do you guys think? What's your theory on what's happened to this young man? Because whichever way you shake it, whatever has happened, it's sad. It shouldn't happen. This should not be happening. Sadly, it has, so we're going to talk about it.